I can't take credit for that intro there, so I'm going to give somebody edited that on another channel. Going to do the right thing and give them a shout out, because every time I try to show the intro of the actual show, unfortunately it gets a massive copyright flag. So shout out to Kizza94, who's got a similar number of subscribers to myself. And I'm going to put their channel. I'm going to put their channel in the chat here. Now, I'm supposed to be joined by Warren Frederick today, talking about Return to Moonbase Alpha, his project. But I have a feeling he's having some technical problems getting online. I'm sort of awaiting open communications because the time and everything had been confirmed, and I've got no reason to suspect why he wouldn't be coming on. So I have a feeling, unfortunately, there must be a technical issue. Now, I don't want to cancel the stream, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the project a bit myself and why I'm interested in supporting it. And then I'm also going to talk about the show, which I think was a fantastic show, particularly season 1 of Space 1999. Now, I've got a couple of fans of the show in the chat, I think a couple of YouTubers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about my favourite 5 episodes of season 1. So I don't know if Roman, who I know is lurking about, fancies coming on, or if QCast TV fancy coming on, because I know they're fans of this show. But if you do fancy coming on, guys, let me know and I'll find a way to get you the link. Roman, I know you're on my Twitter already. Yeah, so if I've got another fan of the show in the chat who wants to come on and join me to talk about sort of the top 5 episodes of season 1, let me know. So Space 1999 is a Jerry Anderson produced television show. This is the man behind Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, Joe 90. This was his second, no, I think this was his 3rd live action show, because he did The Protectors, he did UFO, and I think Space 1999 was his 3rd live action show. It came out before Star Wars. The model special effects were done by Derek Meddings, and of course it's most famous for the ship, which really kind of upstaged everybody else in the show, and that is the Space 1999 Moonbase Alpha Eagle, which is a modular system aircraft that actually looked quite practical. It didn't look too far out there in terms of reality. Like, you know, this looked like something that could really exist. And there are various people around the world who've got massive Eagle collections. I've only got 4 myself, but there are some people who've got, you know, huge numbers of these things. There's a documentary that's been made about the Space 1999 Eagle. There's various companies that used to make them. Those that are no longer in business will cost you a small fortune to get. But I'm just going to see if I can grab a picture of someone's collection so you can see the sort of thing that I'm talking about. But there are, yeah, I mean, there are some real diehard fans out there who've built huge versions of it as well. There's one person who's been building a full-size scale Eagle pretty much. Yeah, boy, do they look impressive. There were some great models of the Eagle as well recently at the Gerry Anderson exhibition at the Museum of Brands. In fact, that was the best exhibition they've ever put on ever at that museum. I've got a, here we go. There's actually an Eagle transporter group on Facebook, of which I am a member. I'm very much a sort of, you know, sit and observe kind of guy, because the people on there have got mahoosive collections of Eagles, and people scratch build them as well to incredible detail. Most people will remember that the dinky one came out, there were various different versions of that, which I'm gonna show you now. So let me just take that down for a second. And okay, Darth, I'll email you the link, mate. Give me a second. As long as you've watched the show, that will work. So let me take that down for a second. Yeah, still no sign of my guest, so I don't know what's happening there. But we may have to reschedule. We'll see. They may turn up as we're streaming. So on the left there is the most common version of the Eagle toy that was available, which was sold in this horrible chrome green color. The actual original first batch that came out were white, but they ran out of paint, and the mass-produced version was the one with the green chrome, where they did the several sections of it in green. You also had the blue chrome version. I don't know what these smaller versions are. They will be very collectible, clearly. Some of those might be early prototypes, maybe for toy versions of it. There's reproductions of these that have come out later. But now you can get much nicer. Yeah, someone has built a full-scale replica. Yeah, so not necessarily for the Artemis crew, but I'll show you some more of those. Let me just send Darth the link. I don't know if Q2 TV is still on. I think he was prepping a post, a live stream. But if you're around and you're a fan of Space 1999, I won't stay on too long for this, and you want to come on, let me know. But yeah, Darth, the email is on its way to you. Oh man, do you know, AI keeps asking me, do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? I haven't even got AI on my computer, and it's asking me every 5 minutes, can I help you do this email? No, fuck off. I can write my own emails. Thank you very much. Excuse my language, but please, really. So, Yeah, the eagle is a core, is really a core thing of this show. It's a core component, and it really does sell the show. This is a great collection of summons with various different types, including scratch builds of their own that they've built. Let's have a quick look at these. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong list. Whoops, that's my inbox. Not that page. In fact, let me close that page so that doesn't happen again. Tonight's going really well. I hope you all enjoyed the interview with Danny Webb. But that at least was free of technical issues. Right, it's like Facebook. There we go. Okay, here we are. So yeah, this is a collection of several different eagle craft, and these were basically the workhorses of the base. And you had various different types. That's a command eagle at the back, the orange. I've actually got that one. In fact, I might get that out of the box and show you guys, or I'll get one. I've got two of them here. I'll probably get them out of the box. Do you know what? I think the medical one, I don't think the medical one's ever even been out of the box, actually. Let me have a little look at this one. Let's see here. I can get this off I'll get this off the shelf. It's causing chaos already. Posters and all sorts of falling down. All right, let me take this down and I'll come on camera. Darth, I've sent you the link, mate. Hello. Roman, if you want to come on, man, let me know. I'll send you the link, mate. You don't need to be super familiar with the show, but just reasonably familiar. So this is my medical eagle, still in the box. I got this about 12, 15 years ago. At one point, they were selling a whole load of Century 21 eagles in Model Zone, which has gone bankrupt now, for $1.99, and there was a stack of them. And I was, oh my God. And I came back to get them and they'd all gone. But they were also selling a discounted Thunderbird 3. And I got that. I actually got that there and then. And I carried it into a taxi. It was so heavy. Now I've also got the Command Eagle, which is also up here. Sorry, I'm going to have to move all kinds of stuff. Because I thought my guest was going to be doing all this kind of thing. Oh, hang on. This one's a bit more complicated to get down. Oh. So this is the Command one, which has got the orange. This has got the orange podule, as it were. I'm going to take the medical one out the box. Let me put this on the floor. I mean, I am the sort of guy that likes to take these things out of the box and play with them, you know. So let's do this gingerly. Like I said, I don't think I've ever taken this one out. Never been taken out of the box. So this kind of is like a moonscape in the background of the base that goes on. It's kind of nice, isn't it? I am showing my stuff. All right. I don't want to drop this on camera, so that would be bad. Now, because what I wanted to ask Warren about the project on Kickstarter is this a fan film? Do they have the rights? I know it's a kind of wrap up, sort of what happened to the Alphans when they went to this planet. Nick Tate, who played Alan Carter, the Eagle pilot in the show, is going to be involved. So here it is. So this is quite heavy. It's got a nice weight to it, and the pod is, I believe, is detachable, but I'm not going to try and start tinkering around with that. Yeah, nice, isn't it? And this is the medical one. You can tell because of the red lines. That's basically saying to the aliens, please don't shoot me because I'm a medical frigate. Because they're equipped with lasers on the front. Yeah. And there you go. That's the Space 1999 Eagle. So let me put that. God blimey. I've got to put all this stuff back in. Okay. I'll gingerly put that back in the box in a minute. Oh, Darth Plato's in the house. Add him to the stage. So, let me get back to the welcome, Darth.
Hey,
thank you for filling in.
Yeah, this is unexpected.
Yeah, indeed. I'll try and get a couple of other people on. If I've got any other YouTubers in the chat that want to come on. Oh yeah, so yeah, Bud, are you on my? Do you know what? I'm just going to chuck the link in the chat. So I'm going to put the link in the chat momentarily for a little bit, and then I'm going to delete it. So Dan Candy, QT, Lord Thoth, if you want to come on, if you know about the show, you don't have to have extensive knowledge, but if you've got some knowledge, there you go. There's the link. I'm going to keep that there for a very brief period, and then I'm going to delete it.
I was watching this show before Doctor Who, and I've been a fan for a long time. I was watching this show in the 70s.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it came out right before Star Wars, and when it was originally released in the UK, it came out on Saturday night at, I think it was 7 p.m. And I remember seeing the trailer for it, and I was really annoyed because it was my bedtime back then was, I was really tiny. My bedtime was like 5 p.m. And I wasn't allowed to stay up and watch it. But then they quickly realised that if they showed it on Saturday afternoon at lunchtime, the viewing figures would be a lot higher. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Sorry about that. I couldn't even get into my other account.
No, that's fine, bud. No problem. Well, I was supposed to have my guest tonight was supposed to be. I'm just going to double check my email in case he's responded, but was supposed to.
Yeah, I sent out everybody I knew about this.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a really interesting project, and I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to speak on behalf of someone else, but the gist of it is that they're going to do a fan film that kind of wraps up what happened to the Alphans after they left the Moonbase at Alpha.
Okay.
And the moon is due to come back round sort of 25 years later. And Nick Tate, who's one of the few surviving cast members, is actually going to return.
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
He's coming back. Whether he's just going to do voiceover work on it, whether he's going to play himself, I'm not sure. I mean, I'd love to see this as a fully fledged 50-minute episode, with all the original, because those sets would not be that difficult to reconstruct. They weren't massively complicated. They were modular. You've got the main mission. You've got some corridors. You can use the footage that already exists of the transportation tube, and loads of people have got loads of Eagles, and there's the techniques to film them in miniature are much more accessible to the layman. Plus, I mean, you could create them with AI. I mean, I would much rather not have that. I'd much rather have a model any day of the week. But I'd love to see it as a full 50-minute episode. I reckon if they spent this money wisely and shot like 5 minutes and then did a second Kickstarter, I reckon they'd raise 200,000-300,000 easy, because the fan base worldwide is quite big. And they hit this target. Their target was only £8,000, and they've raised 21,000, and they've still got 17 days to go. So, which is pretty good. I'll put the link for this in the chat. I remember sort of seeing bits of it through the door. That's what I used to do when my parents wouldn't let me stay up. I would sneak down the stairs very gingerly. I'd take my shoes and socks off, and they'd always have the door to the living room open, and there'd be a gap where the hinge was, and I'd stand behind it and I'd look through the door and watch stuff like this and The Professionals, which was another show that I was on too late for me to stay up. And sometimes my mum would spot me there and come round and chase me back up to bed. Other times I know she would spot me and she wouldn't say anything. So I guess it depended what kind of mood she was in. But very quickly it moved to a children's spot, which was, I think it was 1 o'clock Saturday lunchtime or midday, so maybe midday, just before Saturday lunch. And that's when I got to watch it, which would have been around 76. So I remember that the gap between me seeing the show and then Star Wars coming out was literally like 6 or 7 months. It was really small. But most people think this came out after Star Wars, but it didn't. It came out before.
No, I grew up with this in the 70s as well. It was Saturday. The network for it was WPIX Channel 11 in New York here.
Right.
And my Saturday was basically UFO around, no, I'm sorry, Doctor Who around 4 p.m., UFO at 5, around 7-ish or 8, you get Space 1999, and then I'm switching over to WJNU 47 for Japanese anime on the Spanish network, but directly from Nippon Television. So that's how my Saturday was. So I was able to see it, pretty much in prime time.
Yeah. Have you seen the message from Moonbase Alpha that they did a few years ago with Zena Merton?
I saw it. I don't remember it, but I remember seeing that a while back.
I watched it again the other day, and I mean, Zena Merton is an interesting character. I mean, Sandra is an interesting character on the bass. I mean, predominantly she spends most of it screaming. She's like the one who always screams, but she had a great character, and I'm glad that I think she was in season 2 as well. I think she was in, but she wasn't used much, so she left it. She left the show pretty soon into season 2, but she did this video for this message from Moonbase Alpha, and it's her talking about the base being evacuated. And I think she recorded it about 6 years before she died. It was cancer that took her, bless her. And I think she knew that was probably going to be the last acting job she was ever going to do, or certainly the last one that was really going to resonate with people. And she proper goes for it. And her speech, because it's basically just her doing a monologue, and her speech is so emotional. There's so much going on behind her eyes, not just her putting everything into the character. I think it's also, there's like a reflection of her career. There's sorrow, there's sadness, because she never married, she never had kids. I think all of that stuff is all in that performance. I can see this as a director myself. And when I watched it again the other day with kind of fresh eyes, thinking about those things, oh my God, it really fucking hit me in the feels. It's really powerful stuff. Probably the best performance of her career, and one of the best performances I've ever seen. I'm gonna see if I can find it actually. I might risk playing it because we might get hit for copyright, but it is also a fan film. So
fan films, they generally don't copyright generally, but hey, you never know with YouTube these days.
Well,
Tony Stark got demonetized last night. So.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
What, for the stream he did yesterday? Oh shit! I was on the beginning of that.
I'm not 100%. It was happening during. I was on Sci-Fi Snob's chat room on his last night, and right there in the main Jill's chat, it was like,
Yeah.
boom. Tony was saying, I got demonetized.
Damn. That's a real shame.
And the thing about it is, his salary is 100% from YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, so that's supposedly what he said today on a live stream.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But getting back to this, I mean, when it went off the air, I was, it hurt me. They didn't go with another season of this. It was such a great show. Some of it gave me nightmares because there was a couple of episodes or two that were just like, holy crap, Dragon's Dominion was one of them. And
I mean,
when I saw that for the first time as a child, that gave me nightmares for a bit.
We'll get on to
devouring people.
We'll get on to favorite episodes in a bit.
Yeah, that was Dragon's Domain.
Dragon's Domain. Yeah, I want to talk about that episode. We'll do an episode talk through in a sec. I've got a great website up for that. Let me this video is not that long, so I'll tell you what, we're going to risk it. If nothing else, by dedication for Zena Merton, because it is such an outstanding performance. Let's have a quick look.
This is Moonbase Alpha calling Earth. Moonbase Alpha calling Earth. This is Moonbase Alpha with our last transmission to the people of our home planet. We cannot know if you will receive this message, or if memory survives or even exists in your time of who we were, what our purpose was, and the disaster that took us on our random journey through the infinite reaches of space and time. We calculate it is some 20 years since we lost contact with you. For us, this has been a time of dangers overcome, knowledge revealed, of mysteries encountered, perceptions altered, and a growing conviction of a higher purpose in everything that we have witnessed and endured. These long years have stretched to the limit our will to survive as individuals and as a community, and overcoming our greatest test, the struggle to hold true to our unique birthright, the humanity that is common to all of us from Earth. That is the past. For now, a new and even greater challenge awaits us. For some time now, our life support systems have shown increasing decay. Total failure, though not imminent, seems inevitable. Last week, however, we encountered an intense gravitational disturbance which has catapulted our moon into this totally unknown solar system. Sensors indicate one planet is habitable, but it will only be in range for 6 short days. Insufficient time to calculate the long-term risks of leaving the base and settling there. So the painful collective decision was taken to abandon Alpha, one that was greatly disputed. As I speak now, Operation Exodus has taken place. Commander Koenig and the others have begun to settle on our new world, Terra Alpha. The final eagle waits for me, for I am the last person to abandon the base. Soon the planet will be out of range, and though predictions indicate a slingshot effect will return the moon to the planet in 25 years, we cannot be certain, nor can we base our actions on it occurring. However, one thing is certain. Moonbase Alpha is no more. For many of us, it was our most difficult decision. Though deserted and silent now, Alpha was our refuge. We can never forget our life here. The good and happy times, as well as our moments of despair and heartbreak. Here, friendships flourished. Bonds were forged. It was Maya the Psychon who helped us to understand that we are all aliens until we get to know each other. The memory of what we shared here will forever remain part of the very fabric of this place. Our home, Alpha. I am making this transmission firstly to those of you who knew of our existence and wondered what became of us, and to enlighten those on an earth who may have never known us. People of the same world who are strangers, yet familiar to us through the mysterious effects of time and space. And finally, we want you all to know that we, the people of Moonbase Alpha, did exist. Our presence, the knowledge of Earth and her people, their strengths and weaknesses, pride and arrogance, genius and insignificance, has an imprint on this vast universe that we share with so many races and beings. And to state our belief that although our moon's progress was random, our odyssey does have a purpose, one still in the act of revealing itself. It is time for me to end this brief message and to face the uncertain life and great challenges on our new world. Computer's final task will be to encode this message using a device Maya designed. She believes that it will enable this transmission to navigate the complexities of time and space and reach you on Earth. To Professor Bergman, Michael, dear Paul, Luke and Anna on your new Arcadia, we will never forget you. And to Alpha, wherever you go on your onward journey, our hearts will go with you. And hope for reunion in the future will not fade. And finally, to you, the people of planet Earth, we say goodbye. And ask but one thing. Remember us.
Whoa. Man, honestly, I'm choking up. That is such a powerful speech. She proper nails that. I mean,
Yeah, she does. She really does.
Any director would be made up with that. She doesn't miss a beat. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, there was a huge section of that was one take. Then they went in for a close, but I think they probably filmed it all, one in a wide and one in a tight. Probably did 3 or 4 takes. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, she was so in it. It's so good. It doesn't matter that that's really all there is for that little thing they made, because it's so powerful. I don't know if this is the stuff I want to ask Warren. I don't know if that's what they're planning on doing.
I mean, put a thought into this that they emptied out Alpha. Could you imagine if they had it this way and Alpha returns back to Earth completely empty and wondering what?
I mean, that would be. You know what? If you rebooted the show, you could do a great 2-pronged narrative. That would be a brilliant idea, where Alpha returns, it's empty. People go up there, they find it's completely empty. There's logs, there's video footage of stuff that happened. And then you have a second narrative of them on the planet that they ended up on. And gradually those 2 timelines converge. Wouldn't that be a fantastic show?
Oh, it would be.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It would be
I'd love to write that. I'd love to write that. Let me read out this super chat from, is it Goofus the Doofus? I don't know about any of this stuff. Seems very cool. Thank you for sharing. I mean, it's a great show from the 1970s, mate. You can find it.
Tubi TV has it for free.
There you go. So it's all on Tubi.
It's on Tubi
TV.
You can just watch it on YouTube.
You can watch some of it on YouTube. Yeah, she was a native English speaker, but Zena Merton, who plays that role, had a very, very interesting life. Look up her IMDb page. She was initially brought up overseas, but privately educated, and originally was going to become a dancer. Yeah, I mean, she's fantastic. She was always very up for the conventions and meeting fans and all of that kind of stuff, you know.
Wasn't she missing for most of season 1?
What's that?
Wasn't she missing for most of season 1?
No, she's missing from most of season 2.
Oh, okay, I remember she was missing for a lot of the episodes. I don't remember which season it was.
No, she's in almost all of season 1. Features quite
when they bring in
heavily.
Maya, there's a whole completely change in the cast.
Yeah,
Maya wasn't in season 1. Yeah,
no, she wasn't. I didn't like season 2. I'll be honest. There's maybe 3 episodes of season 2 that I quite like. I like the 2-parter with the aliens that make them think that they've gone back to Earth. That's a good story. But
Bringers
I'm not
of
a
Wonder,
massive,
yeah.
There's too many aliens in rubber suits, and I don't like the music in season 2. It's very sort of dan dan da 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 boop 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 boop. You know, all of that.
It's a completely different theme. Season 1 was philosophical. It had that great doctor character that they got rid of for some reason.
I mean, it was
Victor Bergman. I love Victor Bergman's character, and
he was like the sort of kindly father of the show. You know, the voice of wisdom. I mean,
love that guy.
Was bollocks basically.
And then you had all those special guests like Christopher Lee and a couple others that hit this.
Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Joan Collins, David Prowse.
Yeah, I mean they had
Brian
big guests.
Blessed.
Brian Blessed. Brian Blessed, I think was I think he was in both seasons. I think.
I think he played Maya's dad.
Maya's dad,
and he played the one was it not the Bringers of Life?
Not Bringers of Wonder. He was a scientist in Bringers of Wonder as well, wasn't he?
I think he only appeared in year 2.
Yeah, but it might have been 2 episodes of year 2.
Oh no, Deaths of the Dominion.
Deaths of the Dominion. Okay.
Yeah, that was season 1. Yeah, he died.
Yeah, that's the one that gave me the jitters for a while. That ending with where he's aboard they're going back to Alpha with him aboard, and then suddenly
that was they were on the ice planet.
Yeah.
Well, seeing as there's no sign of my guest, but I'm quite enjoying this. I don't want to wrap up. Let's talk about favorite episodes, because I've got a year 1 episode guide here, which is fantastic.
I have one in front of me as well.
Yeah, I'm going to share screen. We'll talk through these briefly, and hold on.
Are you talking about the whole series or just season 1?
No, we're just going to stick with season 1.
Okay.
Just going to stick with season 1 because of all my favorite 5 episodes, apart from
because that's just as well because all my favorite episodes are from season 1.
Yeah, my favorite episodes. I mean, maybe Bringers of Wonder might be number 5 in my top 5. Maybe I'd have to think about that, but
Dragon Domain is my number 1.
There's 24 episodes. I mean, my number 1 episode, if we're talking number 1, is definitely a toss-up between Dragon's Domain and War Games, because they're both very action orientated, but Dragon's Domain is basically a horror film. It's like if Hammer House of Horror did an episode of Space 1999, that's Dragon's Domain. And the funny thing
you could throw in a little Moby Dick into that as well.
Yeah,
because that was his white whale.
I don't know if you know the story, but the octopus creature that they made for this episode, it ended up on a skip in a corner of Pinewood Studios or Shepperton or wherever they did the main filming, I forget. And it was in a corner where people kept going for a piss. because the toilets apparently from the set were like, you know, the honey wagon was 100 meters that way, but you could nip round this corner and you could have a quick pee. And people were saying, what I remember is the octopus thing from Dragon's Domain ended up in that corner for ages, and it was reeking with piss. And clearly the workman didn't want to pick it up and carry it off. So it stayed there for ages, stinking of pee. I'm sure it did not survive. But that episode absolutely scared the crap out of me. It's still quite frightening now because it's weird. Even though, you know, and the way it's shot with the monster and the way they cut the footage and the noise it makes and that weird light that comes and all of that. Plus you've got Mr. Brosnan from Grange Hill, which is a well-known British children's TV about kids at school. He was like the nasty teacher. He's one of the
familiar with that.
Yeah, he's one of the scientists that gets eaten. I think all three of those actors are quite well known that are on board that ship. The two women, I think the two women are both like really well known as well.
Well, mostly everybody that was on that series, if you were from the UK, you knew about pretty much 90% of the actors on the show.
Yeah.
You know, when it came to US, it was like, okay, we know the main actors, you know, to that point, you know, Christopher Lee shows up, but everybody else is Nick Tate was another one that pretty much everybody knows. But as you got away from this, like Commissioner Simmons, for example, he's been in other science fiction shows like Babylon 5. Nick Tate had a bit of a spot on DS9. So, you know, you started to say, oh, yeah, wait a minute. Wasn't he on Space 1999?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, let's go through from the beginning and we'll the pilot Breakaway is a great episode. This is where everything goes wrong and the moon is blasted out of orbit. It's got one of the most impressive what I would call practical model effects explosion sequences ever done. I mean, even now I'm hard pressed to think of a model effects sequence that's topped that. There's some that are definitely on par, you know, like the exploding the destruction of Krypton in Superman. That's up there with that. That's a lot of model work in that. But I can't think of many.
Jerry and Sylvia Anderson were some of the best model creators of the only other people that were able to do anything like this were the Japanese Toho Studios.
Yeah, right.
At that time period. And still to this day, Toho is still really great with little models and stuff like that. And even some of the stuff they are producing now through that company, with Jerry and Sylvia's company, they can recreate most of the stuff again.
Yeah. I mean, it's very impressive work. I'm going to see if I mean, there's quite a lot of like Eagle fan films and things on YouTube. Lots of people are doing little bits and pieces with AI as well. Eagle AIs. There's lots of AI eagles bombing about.
I had the full-size eagle as a toy.
Yeah, you had the
giant big boy. I had one of those when I was a kid.
Did they bring like a big plastic one out? Was that the one you had?
Yeah, the first ones that came out back in the 70s when they were starting to sell the toys. My mother got me it for Christmas. I was like, oh yeah. You know, and it had the front end was detachable. So you were able to pull the front end off and then take off the back end of the engine and pop it onto the back of the front of the cockpit of the Eagle.
Right.
So you still like if you can't since I was a kid, you couldn't hold it up all the time. You took just the front part and just went zooming around the house.
Yeah. My dinky toy one went through a pretty rough time. I'll be honest. I think I threw that around every single room in the house. You know, it went all over the place for sure. I know I'm gonna get copyrighted for this, so this may well get cut out of subsequent shows, because I've shown this before and I've been copyright flagged for it before. That wasn't specifically a stream about Space 1999, so I might get away with. This is actually off the official Jerry Anderson. It's really good. It's preceded by the line, "Commander, she's going up," and then it all goes to shit. I actually wanted to show that sequence, but I can't find it here. I've got the I don't think it's the Blu-ray. I've got the DVD box set of all of season.
That's next on my collection. I got to get the Babylon 5 and the Space 1999 Blu-ray on that.
Yeah,
so I have the DVD versions. I want to get the upgraded with the.
I don't think I've got the. I wouldn't mind getting the Blu-ray. They've just released an amazing Blu-ray Thunderbirds box set, but I have already got Thunderbirds on Blu-ray. But they've done this one with a load of special postcards and things. But I'm like, look, guys, I've already got like 3 versions of Thunderbirds. I've still got the VHSs somewhere. How many
I love
of these?
Thunderbirds. I love Captain Scarlet, Joe 90, Secret Service.
Yeah,
I mean, they made some great content. I mean, UFO was the other one.
Yeah, UFO was good. Secret Service I don't think really worked, but anyway,
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, it's fun. Yeah, Lord Thoth is talking about Dragon's Domain and war games. Yeah, I don't think anybody would disagree. I mean, the tone of season 1 is very thoughtful science fiction. It's more in the realm of Babylon 5. It's more in the realm of season 3 onwards of Star Trek: The Next Generation, whereas season 2 is like season 3 of original Star Trek original series, because it's the same producer. That producer is dead now, so he can no longer do damage. But it's let's talk about other episodes. So Matter of Life and Death, that's the one with Peter Shane in it, I think. What's his name? It is Shane. I'm sure it's guest actor.
Which one again was that? Forces of Life?
Matter of Life and Death. I think the guest actor was, the guy that played Lovejoy in the UK, and he went on to do the cowboy western series that everybody was upset when it got cancelled early. I'm sure this is the episode he's in.
Ian McShane?
Ian McShane, thank you. Is this not the episode?
It's listed as Forces of Life. Force of Life.
Oh, he's in Force.
That's Force of Life. Yeah,
that's Force of Life.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
Life and Death. Yeah. This is not one of my favorites. First Alien Planet Landscape in it. These were always very well done, I thought. So yeah, that's another interesting factoid, but not that wouldn't be in my top 5. Norwood Black Sun, that's the one with "You are prisoners of the planet Krypton."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of creepy at the beginning. It starts off well, and then it just sort of, it just doesn't. I don't know. It just sort of it isn't all that. Well, no, Black Sun's the one when they go through and it crushes things into small, and everything gets crushed. Ring Around the Moon is You're Prisoners of the Planet Krypton. That's right. That's this one. Yeah, but that also not one of my faves. But it's an average episode of season 1 is better than any episode of season 2. I think the first good one, and I do remember Earthbound really well, because this blue alien spaceship was really cool. I really liked it. You can get a miniature of this. It's really hard to find, but there was a company that made it. Of course, they sold out of it like almost immediately. And this is the episode with Christopher Lee.
Mm-hmm. Another one that gave me the ending gave me a bit of a nightmare.
Commissioner Simmons decides he's going home because he's basically got nothing to do. on Alpha because he's got no authority. He hasn't really got a job. But yeah, great miniature work again in this one. There's the medical eagle in action. But yeah, Roy Doctris, who played Commissioner Simmons, is really good. It's the first episode that's got the kind of internal conflict on the base. The only time I think he comes back, apart from Breakaway, it's just like sort of assumed that he's on the base and he's not really doing anything because all he wants to do is get back to Earth, which is completely impossible. So, in some ways, that's right. The funny thing is, one person was going to be chosen at random, and the person that was chosen at random was him, wasn't it? By the computer.
And he wasn't allowing for them to say who it was, and he just wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And then he ended up in the stasis, and he woke up in the stasis chamber just like about a week out, and they were still picking up the signal.
Yeah.
And he freaked out in there. Because there's no way out of that chamber.
No, and he basically has a heart attack, effectively, doesn't he?
Yeah,
that's what's in the script. I didn't really realize why he died watching that as a kid. Another Time, Another Place is a very interesting episode. This is sort of where Alpha meets itself in the future. And they've managed to get back to they've settled on a planet, and they meet themselves. It's kind of weird, but it's also quite good. Judy Geeson, who some people may remember from The Eagle Has Landed with Michael Caine, she screams a lot in it, an awful lot. But it's not a bad episode. You guys got any thoughts on that one?
That one, that's the one with where Helena meets herself and she faints.
Yeah.
That one was a bit was a wow situation on that. Yeah, that scene alone, I was like, wow. This could have been the situation for them, but it never came true.
Yeah.
But the question is, do these Alphans still exist, or were they just erased from time itself?
Yeah. I mean, that you could have definitely explored this again in a season 2 that was written properly. Sorry to be so negative about it, but
no, it's the same thing with the Testament of Arcadia.
Yeah, well, we'll come on to that.
Yeah,
we'll get there. Darth, you got any thoughts on this one?
It's not one of my top 5. It was a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I have to say I liked it. I like it more now than I did as a kid, because as a kid I always liked the action episodes, and there's about 10 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
In season 1, and this is not one of them. This is one with lots of talking. Now, this one is very odd. Missing Link.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
This is the one where, if I remember rightly, this survey team goes down to a planet. They go through this arch of mist between some bushes, and then they regress to cavemen.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's this one, isn't it? Yeah.
Right. Yes, it's actually a pretty decent plot twist.
Yeah, I mean, I when I was watching it as a kid, I was like, "What is going on?" And isn't that actor also an actor that was in this bit?
Because I thought that the missing crew, you had their uniforms off this. I thought they were like being cannibalized or something.
Yeah, I mean, this I don't remember where this comes in the story.
That's really neat, whatever that is.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's a matte painting with an eagle flying projected on it. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm just not sure where that comes in the story in this, but it's in this episode thing, I think, at the beginning.
Still Sylvia and Jerry Anderson, the sets, the backdrops on there, are still phenomenal. This is 2026, and some of this, you can't really do this today. They don't have the ability to do this now. They could do AI and get it as close as possible, but still that talent, was back then, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, are we getting this one mixed up with a different one? But I thought the missing link was the one with the cavemen, but the images. No, the one with the cavemen is Full Circle.
Is it? Wait.
Yeah, the one with the cavemen is the Full
yes,
Circle.
it is. You're right. You're correct.
Yeah,
You're correct.
The missing link. This one is a different episode.
Which one is this then?
This is the episode with Grand Moff Tarkin, where he's trying to marry off Koenig to his daughter.
Yeah, okay.
That's right. And they come across this ancient alien civilization, and they're kind of like a dying race, and they want Koenig and his daughter, and the daughter's Joan Collins, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, this episode, I quite like this episode. I like this episode a lot more watching it as an adult, because everything in it made sense to me. And at one point, he's walking around the base, and the base is empty, and it's all being controlled by the alien entity. So it's quite a good episode.
It's sort of almost hints on that Star Trek episode where Kirk beams down to the planet, and it's the Enterprise, and it's empty.
Yeah, very similar to that.
Yeah. I remember it. Yeah, what was that name of that? Shoot.
I was on the other day too. It was where the planet is overpopulated.
Yeah, I know, but I just the name of the episode is off the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
It was season 3, I think.
Now, this episode, clearly written when a load of people had taken some drugs.
It's Guardian of Piri.
Guardian of Piri is actually one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites for lots of reasons. One is I absolutely love the production design on it, which is bonkers but works. Two is it evoked very strange stirrings in me as a child that I didn't understand every time Suzanne, what's her name? Catherine Shell, wasn't it? Appeared as the Guardian.
It is.
Which of course was the that got her the job in season 2. But I love these sets.
Oh yeah, still again, fantastic sets from the Andersons.
Yeah, it was just like really weird, but and they built a full size version of it with the actors to kind of hang out in. It was so well done. By the way, I'll put the link for this in the chat for people if you want to check out this. This is it's a very old website now, you can tell from the design, but it's a great website.
Classic.
Just to interrupt, the Star Trek episode was the Mark of Gideon.
Mark of Gideon, that's right.
Right.
So in this episode, if you go too near the planet, you basically become high and you don't want to leave. And which is quite, and it was.
Where have we heard that concept before?
Well, there was a lot of people taking psychedelic drugs around this time, so that was obviously, and this is all being controlled by an alien who appears in the guise of a beautiful woman. There were some interesting guests in this, like Michael Culliver was one of the. That's Michael Culliver, and this is one of the new Avengers.
Oh yes.
My parents met this actor at a garden party, and they said he was really rude. I remember them telling me that. My mum was so disappointed because she really liked him, and he was a bit, full of himself because he'd just done the new Avengers. So, and this is Michael Culliver, who, of course, I should apologise to Lord Vader myself, but that guy from Empire Strikes Back. Apology accepted, Captain Nuda. I think he's one of the ones. He's one of the two guys that gets strangled by Vader, and of course the other actor is also in Space 1999 who gets strangled by Vader. He's the one in Dragon's Domain who's on the ship. So they both get killed in this, and they both get strangled by Vader. But yeah, I probably would put Guardian of Piri in my top 5. It would probably be like number 5, but I really like it. It's the first time they evacuate Alpha as well. The first time Operation Exodus gets put into operation, and Koenig is the only one who can't. He's the only one that's not entranced by the alien. For some reason, he's immune. I think he has an accident at the beginning.
He's like it's the same thing with Kirk in This Side of Paradise.
Yes,
a lot of
I was about to say that.
But the point being is that this theme, like in This Side of Paradise, is basically based on Homer's Odyssey, the island of the Lotus Eaters.
Yeah,
that's where this story comes from.
And it's sort of like in The Wizard of Oz as well, when they were going through the field and it was causing them to sleep.
That also comes from the Lotus Eaters.
Yeah.
So Force of Life is the one with Ian McShane. This is the first time we see the nuclear reactor on the base, which was
End of Eternity, Ian McShane.
Yeah, it's a cool.
That was a scary episode, actually.
This is Force of Life. This one. He's in.
Force of. What am I thinking?
Yeah, he's in Force of Life.
End of Eternity. That's the guy with the really tall guy.
Yeah, no. That's Peter Bowles.
Yeah, that scared me too.
Bowles.
Yeah. Force of Life was the one where he was.
This is Ian McShane, directed by David Tomblin, who, by the way, was the first AD on. I think it's him. He was the first AD on Bridge Too Far. So, an indispensable first AD in the British film industry, David Tomblin. Force of Life. It was quite a creepy episode. Wasn't one of my faves, but it was good. What did we think of Alpha Child?
Which one?
Alpha. This is the one where you have the baby on Alpha.
That was weird. Yeah.
And he becomes Julian Sands. No, not Julian Sands. He becomes the bad guy villain actor from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The one who drinks from the cup and suddenly grows old.
Whatever his name is. Yeah, he was in City of Death and Doctor Who as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the main villain.
Yeah, whatever his name was, General Veers.
It's not Julian Glover, is it?
Yes, Julian Glover.
Yeah, Julian Glover. There you go.
Julian Glover. Julian Sands is the one who tragically died out hiking. I like this episode because I remember when I first watched it as a kid, it's like, it's all about a baby being born, and that's boring. There's not going to be any space battles in this one. And I was completely wrong. It's about a baby being born who's actually a really evil alien, and pretty soon there are big battles. And it's the first time they use that massive model for the alien ship when the big alien ship when it turns up to kind of sort them out. Yeah,
I wasn't a fan. Sorry.
You didn't like it?
No.
I quite like this episode. I don't know if I'd put it in my top 5, but I love this alien ship that turns up at the end. That model turns up in about 4 other episodes, including in the car park in Dragon's Domain with all the spaceships. What about you?
I liked it. It's not my top 5, but I did still enjoy it, especially for the when the ship arrives at the end of this episode, and anything with the Space 1999 moniker in season 1, I just I enjoy. It's always hard to choose what the top 5 is on the best. I mean, finally after so many years, I narrowed it down. It took me a long time to narrow down what is my favorite.
Yeah, speaking of top 5,
Last Sunset.
Yep.
Is that in your top 5?
That's in my top 5.
Yeah, this is one of my top 5. It's actually the first episode I ever saw.
Right. Where is it? Paul eats the weird fungus that grows on the moon, and it turns him bonkers. Yeah, I mean, I like this episode. I think it's good. It's a little bit, suddenly everybody dons pajamas and goes and plays tennis on the moon, and then you've got the subplot with the lost eagle. But it's a good episode. I wouldn't put it in my top 5, but I completely understand why you guys do, because it's well written. It's quite interesting. It's sort of they've been stuck on
Yeah, they've been given a gift for just a small moment to enjoy themselves on the surface of Alpha.
I wonder if any of these props survived these things.
Knowing the Andersons, they probably have some of them survived. I mean, a lot. Some of them are, from what I understand, like the puppets and stuff like that. Some of them are damaged to that point, and I would assume some of the models have some damage. But lately, I have heard the Anderson company has been repairing a lot of this stuff. You know, because
I think this is a staged. This is a staged picture for the show because I don't remember a scene with Dr. Helena Russell taking one of the space bazooka things, which turn up in just a couple of episodes, and cautiously approaching one of these robots outside, because they bring one inside and then suddenly it releases all the air, and that's when they realize that they've got oxygen in them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't.
Could be something off the cutting room floor, also too.
They did do a number of stage publicity shots.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, we've got a set. We've got lots of cool looking robots. You know, Barbara, would you mind picking up that bazooka and doing a stage photo for us? They did loads of stuff like that back then. Very interesting use of car radio aerials on these props. But yeah, that's okay. So this is one in your top 5. This is a good episode. Voyager's Return. Guest actor Jeremy Kemp, who was in Bridge Too Far.
Mm-hmm.
Where Voyager 1 comes back to Earth. I think the episode starts with it accidentally blowing up a couple of Eagles that approach it. And it's got this it's got the Queller Drive, isn't it called the Queller Drive?
Queller Drive, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what unfortunately has resulted in destruction. And then these aliens turn up.
That they've been chasing this down to find out who did this and destroy them.
Yeah. Which obviously they're quite unhappy about. Yeah, I like this episode. It's a good one. Probably it would be in my top 10. I don't know if it's in my top 5, but I like these ships as well. These are cool. Kind of look like bugs.
This actually came out before the motion picture.
Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. Yeah. Because I think Star Trek: The Motion Picture was released in
78.
Yeah, 78. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a year after. It was a year after Star Wars.
Yeah, I saw it.
I took everybody to see it for my birthday, and all the kids were fucking bored.
Yeah, I remember that was one of the first movies I saw in the theater.
Yeah, I mean, I love it now. I particularly love the new version.
I'm not trying to dig a rabbit hole. I'm just trying to point out that maybe that this episode might have had some inspiration for that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they may have. I mean, all's fair in love and war, because half of these scripts have been lifted off of Star Trek, and if Star Trek lifted an idea from them, that would be, I think that would be fair. I do like Voyager's Return. That would be a contender for my top 5. It's definitely one I really like. Then we've got Collision Course. This is the one where 2 of them have, I think it's Alan and Koenig. They're able to see and talk to this lady who's part of this alien planet that looks like it's going to collide with them. And don't they set up a chain of devices to try and blow the planet up before it collides with the moon or something like that? And
there was supposed to be a preordained collision, and they were trying they were debating whether to let it happen or not.
Yeah, and basically the woman who's the descendant of an alien race long died is basically saying, don't blow up the planet. It's going to just disappear, and they have to take it on faith. And it's a weird episode because Koenig and Alan are sort of like, aren't they stunning people and running around the base sort of trying to stop. I think Paul gets upset and he's like, you're going to kill us all, Koenig, this kind of thing. It's a pretty good one. But not in my top 5 though, for sure.
No, not in mine.
No. Move on. There's Other Dominion. This is a creepy
this is
one.
Brian Blessed, yeah.
That one is in my top 5.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah,
so this is they come across the planet of Ultimate Hewley, where a survey, some sort of survey ship from Earth got lost. It crashed there years ago. The Alphans know some of the people on the planet, and the planet has kept them eternally young, whereas they should be much older than they actually are. That's right. And Brian Blessed is in this one. He's the leader, and he shouts and talks like that quite a lot. But they all live under the surface of the planet in these kind of ice caves, which obviously Victor doesn't like very much. As you can see, he's feeling the cold here. But it's a good episode. I like the sets. The ending is really good.
Oh yeah,
because they're cursed. They can't leave.
I forgot the line. There's a line that's in that it's just death. Something about death.
I think it's like the last line of the episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where his second in command, the one who's supposedly crazy, who sort of shouts, go away at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, Helena suddenly realizes that she's been gripped by a skeleton. I always remember that shot.
But we're putting in this space.
Yeah, it's a good episode. Yeah, this might make my top 5. It would be up there. This episode's got loads of it's got loads of really hot women in it, this episode.
Well, that's always a plus.
Yeah, well, I think there's like Suzanne St. Clair, I think was a Bond girl. She's one of the Ultimate Hewley people.
Yeah, look at Alan
or whatever.
Yeah, and Alan is just chilling.
Yeah, I know at one point Alan comes out of a room and he's got a girl on each arm and he goes, come on, this place is great. And it's like he's just had a threesome or something. It's, which is quite funny because Alan's always the one who's flirting with women and what have you. But it is a good episode. It is quite creepy.
It is, yes.
The line is, if there is an end.
Is that the line?
Yeah.
Is there an end? Okay, so
it's like Coney goes, is it death that gives meaning to life in the end when he's saying that? And then he hears Captain Jack Tanner in his head. He said, if there is an end.
That's right.
Well, we talked about this episode already.
Yeah. But we didn't have the pictures.
Right.
I want to see if there's a photo of Paul with his massive beard. Which would be quite Prentice Hancock, Prentice Hancock didn't get asked back to do season 2 because he was notoriously difficult to work with. A lot of people did not get on with him.
Yeah. This is it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that. They must have had an absolute blast filming this.
Yeah, and they're all doing sort of ugh, that kind of thing. I mean, it's a fun episode, but it's stupid as fuck.
I like the plot twist though.
Yeah, it's
every episode had a great plot twist to the ending, and it's just that's what drew me when I first saw this. I was like,
I love that.
Helena as a cave woman, brilliant. Love it.
Yeah, that'd be a good avatar for a live stream.
Yeah. And the thing is that she was doing stuff similar to this on Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
where she was disguising herself as different women.
So most of my top 5 are coming up shortly.
Yeah, I remember End of Eternity.
Yeah, End of Eternity. This is the one with Peter Bowles. Yeah, where they blow up an asteroid. It's a prison.
Yeah.
For an alien, and that alien is Peter Bowles, and he was kept in there deliberately because he killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the prison chamber, and he basically he's an immortal sadist who likes torturing people. Good episode. It would be close to being in my top 5, but it's not. I found it very creepy, this episode. And this guy goes crazy and he's attacking people with the plane. That actor was also in The Eagle Has Landed as well. He's Jenny Agutter's boyfriend who gets killed by Donald Sutherland in the movie. And that they always ended up dubbing this actor's voice. He always got dubbed by someone else. So I guess he looked great, but didn't sound so fantastic. I don't know.
Yeah. I would like this episode because it scared the crap out of me, but I can't seriously say it's a top 5 episode.
No, Peter Bowles is very tall, and so they always, when he's walking around as the alien chucking security guards through windows and things, you notice like the camera angles are always very low to make him look even taller. Oh, cheers, buddy. I'll check that out. Where did you send that, mate? Let me know where you sent that. I might even put it on while we're live. Yeah. So the next episode, War Games. Okay, this is either number 1 or number 2 in my top 5. Number 1 and number 2 are War Games and Dragon's Domain for me. And this is another great episode with lots of action. You get to see all the different security procedures that Alpha would do if it was under attack. You get the vehicles that defend the base are in it as well. So there's loads of really cool miniature work. There's lots of destruction and people getting blown out into space and very cool sequences like that. So, and then also this I thought was great.
Yeah.
The visuals for the planet that they want to settle and fight on. And the aliens can see that because they're so primitive, if they do land there, they will start a war with them. So they can't permit them to come to the planet.
Well, it's a battle of the sexes.
It's a battle of the sexes, is it?
Yeah, because the one planet is of men, the other planet is all women. No,
that's later. You're thinking
later? Am I getting confused on that one?
You're getting confused. No, War Games is not. That's The Last Enemy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, which is also in my top 5. I'm coming on to that one. Sure. That's also got the best guest spaceship in it of the entire series. Yeah. So no, this is originally when Space 1999 got released on VHS. As a feature film, they packaged it with Breakaway and War Games because the planet in War Games is mentioned in Breakaway because it's the planet of Meta where the Meta probe was going to go because that's where it's the first planet they found that supported life. And then you've got the 2 aliens in it, both played by very well-known British actors as well. The other one is the female one is Isla Blair, who I saw on stage in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. She played Nurse Ratched, and she was very, very good. This is her here. That's Isla Blair. And Danny Webb was in that version of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with her.
Really?
Yeah, he played the Jack Nicholson part. I went to see him in it.
Nice.
So this is the one that's the Battle of the Sexes. This would also be in my top 10. This would probably be my number 3. And that's The Last Enemy. And this is 2 planets, another great matte painting, who are constantly at war, firing missiles at each other when one comes into view, and then there's a period where the other one can't see it. They're both orbiting around the same sun. There's lots of reasons why this is one of my favorites. It's got great action in it. It's also got incredibly sexy female aliens that left me feeling very confused as a child. I completely understand these feelings now.
Yeah, I don't remembering it off the top of my head.
This is the best guest ship in my view, this battle cruiser. I thought
that is
awesome.
Cool.
That is, yeah.
Really liked this. I wonder if this model still exists. It's huge. It's a huge model as well. Huge model. These are the 3 female aliens. I can't think why I got confused feelings at all, but I did. I think all 3 of these actresses are still alive as well. And that'd be great to get them all on a podcast together.
Oh, yeah. Well, the one with the longer hair, the one over to the right, you got a bit of a cleavage shot in that.
What's going on?
Yeah, but this storyline in a way reminds me. In 2000, Japan released a series called Vandred, which was literally Earth had gone out into space. The pioneers that went out there, they separated themselves. The men lived on one planet and the women lived on another planet.
Yeah.
And there was like a whole hierarchy that basically they considered the women like monsters and creatures.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, this episode was originally called The Second Sex. So script title was revised first to The Other Enemy and then to The Last Enemy. But that's that. I'd probably put that as my number 3. This is a very weird episode, The Troubled Spirit. This is the one that starts off with a really long, weird guitar sequence and the people having the seance. I did not like this episode as a kid. No. I thought I would like it as an adult. I hate it even more as an adult. I don't like it at all. It's probably my least favorite episode of season 1.
I think, because it has that vibe from the 70s. So it's really like a ship in a bottle kind of episode.
Yeah,
it doesn't age well. That's why you don't like it. It hasn't aged well.
Well, I didn't like it then either. It was rubbish then.
Well, there's that part where the guy has the half face.
But you were a kid in those days. It's not the same thing.
Well, regardless, Darth, I do not. I like this episode not, and it's also got a big subplot about plants, which is very unexciting. There's a ghost and there's plants.
I agree.
Neither of these things are exciting in the show. In this show, really. I don't know. I just. It's like this ghost who keeps turning up. They're doing like a weird. This has got this actor here. He's in Lady Hawk. This actor, because they had to have a certain number of Italian cast members because of the way that the show was produced. A huge chunk of the funding came from Italy, from an Italian TV company. Yeah, this actor, he did a whole load of the. B movies that came straight out to video in the 80s that like Quentin Tarantino really loves. This guy was the lead in The New Barbarians.
Oh,
yeah, that kind of Mad Max ripoff. That's actually a ton of fun. Well, what did you like this episode then?
For me, it wasn't the best episode on there. There is a creepy part in there. I don't know if you have the picture of it where the guy's face is like melted in a way.
Yeah, it's like burnt off.
It's like burnt off. He's standing there, and it's like, oh, that's just another, like I said, another nightmare that came on me when I was young, because I was very young when this came out. So
because doesn't he? Isn't in this scene? Isn't he sort of fighting himself?
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen this.
He's fighting like the version of him that's got the burnt face. I don't know. I did the whole episode. It really felt like this was an episode that someone wrote who was like, yeah, this is like really cool and it's got all these layers and it's really great. And I'm going to talk about it at dinner parties and how great I was. And it's actually like a load of fucking pretentious wank. I don't like it. There's probably Space 1999 fans out there that absolutely love this episode.
What was the name of it again?
It's The Troubled Spirit.
Yeah. No, this was a good episode. I don't think it's top 5, but it is a good episode.
I knew Darth would like it. I thought it was going to be your number 1, to be honest.
No. Well, I just said it's not top 5.
No. Okay. So this one has got the best use of bubble foam in a TV show ever. I really like this episode. Space Brain. So this is the one where this huge cloud is approaching Alpha. An eagle goes to investigate it. It crushes the eagle. The eagle comes basically flying back like it's gone in a trash compactor. So another eagle lost, and they use the gods of war from that famous classical music thing, but it's essentially a living alien approaching Alpha. And they're trying to work out how they're going to survive. And there's a fantastic sequence where they fill the entire set full of foam when the alien sort of comes into contact with the planet. It's really well done. I really love that sequence.
Gee, I wonder if the foam parties, when I was down in Miami, living in Miami, I wonder that's where they got the foam parties from.
I mean,
they had parties in the nightclubs, and they filled the nightclub floor with foam.
That's a great shot of the cast from
It is.
season
Yeah,
one.
that is a very good shot.
Yeah, because you've got all the regular extras on there. I don't know if you guys know this, but Suzanne Roquette, who is just over Alan's shoulder here on the right, there were two sort of very gorgeous looking Swedish women who occasionally had the odd line in main mission, and she was one of them. When you watch the episode of Band of Brothers, Why We Fight, and you've got the German woman who's like picking through the bodies, she's like forced to clear up at the end. That's her. That's the same actor.
Really?
Yeah, that's that woman now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because she had no dialogue in that episode, it was just all done with looks, wasn't it?
Well, sometimes you can say more with less.
Indeed, I like this episode. Probably, I think it would be like number 6 or number 7. Not quite in the top 5, but it's almost.
Yeah, it reminds me of the there's an episode of Classic Trek that does something very similar to this.
This is definitely in my top 5. This is probably number 4, The Infernal Machine with Gwen. I absolutely love this episode.
Infernal Machine.
Yes. This is when it's like a huge robot ship approaches the Earth, and it's got those kind of weird. There must be a picture of it. It's got these weird side things that sort of rotate.
And the great Leo McKern in this.
Leo McKern does the voice of Gwent, which is the ship, and then also Companion, who is Gwent's companion, and the companion is dying, and that's why it's come to Alpha. I like the design of the ship. It's really alien. Leo McKern is amazing. There's a lot of action in it, but it's also a real thinking episode. Great acting. Good guest characters. This set was so. A lot of curtains.
Oh, I remember this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, good uses of curtains.
Yeah, they when they ran out of money, you could tell that they would use a lot of curtains. I mean, it's quite good.
Well, that was
yeah.
Like I said, the Andersons were geniuses when it came to models, and they used everything that they could use. And you know, some of the special effects people on Next Generation were the same way. I mean, I think what was it? There was a scene where they showed a large generator machine, and actually it was made up from parts of a model kit that they used, like when you pop stuff off the model kit.
Yeah,
they just glued that together, and they created the machine itself that way.
I see the super chat there from RRTNZ, and I'm actually wondering about that, whether it ever won any awards for special effects. Well, at the time, you didn't have the TV BAFTAs. They weren't a thing in the 70s. I think you had the BAFTAs, and that was it. It was the most expensive series produced for British television at that time, with a 6.8 million budget. But I'm just looking to see if there was any awards.
And I think UFO was just right behind it on budget too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not seeing any reception. Here we go. Star Trek full of methadone. Interesting. So it's interesting to read the different critiques that came out. But I don't see anything. Regarding that. So, but yeah, this is a good episode with a really good script, good acting. You know, I mean, the acting in Space 1999 wasn't always good. I have to say, Barbara Bain, for me, a lot of the time, she didn't quite. She was too much. It was very overdramatic with her all the time. I think there was always a hidden rivalry between her and Martin Landau. It's very evident when you watch the show about needing to impress all the time, and there was huge problems with ego on the set as well. And also in season 2, Barbara Bain was like really threatened by.
Weren't they married at the time?
They were, but they were divorced by the end of the show, I think.
Okay.
So they were living separately by season 2, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, remember, they were just coming off Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's right. Model work on Space 99 should have won every award going. A good show elevated by incredible production design. The Eagle is a top 10 spaceship. It absolutely is.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is for sure.
I mean, I don't think there is a bad ship design in this entire series, even in the season 2.
Yeah, there's some good ships in season 2, but season 2 is.
I know, but I'm saying overall, every model that they produced for this series wasn't bad. I mean, you hear Star Trek and you hear some of the other stuff, and they say, that's not such a great design. You come to Space 1999, it's like everything was really well done as far as the ships.
Yeah. This is in my top 5. Mission of the Darians. Loved this episode as a kid. Like it even more now.
Yes.
Incredible model work. They come across this huge semi-derelict alien space city. Parts of it are no longer occupied, and then it's sort of divided between the upper class intellectuals who are trying to save the genetic pattern of their race, and these kind of lower class Neanderthal types who basically occasionally get kidnapped and sacrificed. It's a really good story. It scared the shit out of me. There's this sequence where they put these people in this kind of weird chamber and they get disintegrated, and that was, I remember we reenacted that scene as kids. We must have had a weird but it's a really good episode with amazing production design.
I mean, Joan Collins and Aubrey Morris.
Is this the one with Joan Collins?
Yeah, this is the one with Joan Collins. And Aubrey Morris is in this too.
I mean, I really love these. That's another shot of the. But these mats are great as well. These are for the different bits of the interior of the ship. You know, where you've got, you know, this ancient civilization. It's parts of it are overgrown. It's derelict. I remember absolutely loving these. And they had them walking along this, so they did forced perspective with this shot. Very clever. But it was great. This was the security guard that got zapped. He's kind of like the red shirt. Yeah, there we go. That's Joan Collins. At her finest, in her prime.
Oh yeah.
And also that whole wig arrangement with the flowers and stuff, that's totally working for me. Yeah, they were a bit sort of like the Greek gods, weren't they? And
yeah, exactly.
They were sort of trying to eradicate imperfection. But it was good. And then you had
there's Aubrey right there, young Aubrey.
Isn't that Lionel Blair?
No, that's Aubrey.
What, the actor?
Yeah.
Aubrey who?
That was Aubrey. Hold on, I just had it a minute ago here. Ooh,
that looks a bit like Lionel Blair. Let me have a look. All the guest actors.
Here we go. It's Aubrey Morris. He plays the Petrus High Priest.
Oh, okay. Aubrey Morris. Why don't I see his name here?
He was in Wicker Man. He was
there he is.
In Clockwork Orange. He was in Life Force.
Yeah. Patrick Mower. Oh dear. Yeah. He's an interesting actor. But yeah, this was their packet that contained their genetics or whatever. And I seem to recall this guy gets his head thrown through the middle of it at the end of the episode. Production still of Joan Collins.
Gorgeous.
Oh, I mean, just isn't she? Between
her and Helen Mirren, I had crushes on.
Yeah, same. She hosts the most amazing parties, yeah, I'd love to go to one of those. See, this is what I mean. Listen to this. Ray Austin talking about this episode. The only time I had trouble with Barbara Bain, the first morning Joan Collins came on set, her skirt was shorter than Barbara's, and she went mad off camera. She went to see Jerry and Sylvia and said, I'm not going to have it. She wanted her skirt shorter than Joan Collins. Joan Collins' skirt had to be lengthened. Collins was a fantastic woman. That's why we employed her. But Barbara Payne, as the crew used to call her, she wanted wardrobe to change Collins' skirt. But Jerry said, no, that's why we've got her. We're not going to hide her legs. That's why her outfit was designed. I mean, that's just ridiculous ego, isn't it? Ridiculous ego. Barbara, yeah, I heard she was a problem. I've heard that a lot.
That's the line of the night right there, Barbara Payne.
Well, because she that's why she didn't like it when Suzanne, what's her name, Suzanne, the girl that came back for season 2, played the who played oh my god,
Maya, yeah.
Maya, who played Maya, yeah. I mean, she hated her, absolutely hated her. Didn't
really?
She wouldn't talk. Yeah, she wouldn't talk to her on set. It's really well known. It's really well known. She was jealous of her because she got all these big storylines and everything. There's a really weird episode where Koenig kisses both women, and because Maya's turned into Barbara Bain, and he has to guess which one's which. That is such a strange sequence, and it has all this weird crap sort of disco love soundtrack music that they used in season 2 to it. And I remember as a kid going, God, this is awful. And watched it again as an adult. This is awful. It wasn't good. So yeah, so look, before we talk about the final episode of season 1, I would say my top 5 are Dragon's Domain, Mission of the Darians, The Infernal Machine, The Last Enemy, and War Games, plus Breakaway. So yeah, maybe the hard shout. I mean, maybe Infernal Machine might go to number 6, or Breakaway might be number 6. Tough. And I did say Guardian of Piri, but I think actually the other's not Guardian of Piri out. So Guardian of Piri being my top 10, but not in my... Yeah, so those are my top 5. So Breakaway, War Games, Last Enemy, Mission of the Darians, Dragon's Domain. There you go. And then we come to Testament of Arcadia, the episode with the most overproduced soundtrack score of any television episode ever. But it's not a bad episode. I quite like a lot about it. It's a weird one.
They're all weird.
Darth, do you want to chip in on this one?
I'm trying to remember it.
I mean, this one, it's, I wanted them to at least write a story coming back on this, because the way this ends. And because, I mean, it was at first that they wanted to all go there, that it might have been perfect, and then they changed their mind at the last minute, and they end up, forcing their way off of Alpha, and then now they're stuck there, with limited amount of equipment, and
Well, it's basically the two of them, and even if they have a child, which they probably would, how's that colony ever going to grow any further without massive incest taking place? It's not, is it?
No.
So it's kind of, when you think about it in a bit more depth. It is very weird. But there's things about it I like. But there's that very weird scene where they go into the cave and the light comes on, and it's all narrated by Koenig, who's like, who knows what they saw in that cave that time, but what they saw changed their minds forever. And it's all like, and they read some scriptures, and the skeletons are backlit and all this kind of stuff. And it's supposed to be that maybe mankind came there at some point, and these two decide to hold the base
hostage.
Continuity error. Bergman says there's over 300 people on Alpha. In the Metamorph, there's 297, but the Metamorph is later.
Yeah,
so
okay, I remember this now.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
This was supposed to be Eden. This was supposed to be where humanity originated, and
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they were talking about settling there, and these two people went crazy, and they were going to take the doctor hostage.
I think the reason the escape, I'm trying to remember this. I think the reason the escape is that the orbit might have been just, it was going to crash into something, or it was going to decay or something like that. And that's why they were.
No, according to their readings, it was going to decay, and that life wasn't going to last there. It was going through a cycle, and they had to evacuate. And then
I thought that they had a power drain, not that it was not.
Oh, maybe it was a power. I can't remember, something like that.
Because if the orbit's declining, then going down to the planet isn't really going to help them.
But basically, it wasn't going. There wasn't going to be life that was going to be there, and then these two go down, forcing people at gunpoint, and then there suddenly is life there. Lisa Harrow, who played Anna Davis, was pretty good in this, actually, you have to say. She was still acting up until 2023, doing bits and pieces of TV, theatre, that kind of thing. She was actually born in New Zealand, but she went to RADA. So she would have been there probably about 10 years before Danny Webb.
So this episode taps into that whole ancient astronaut theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you notice when they get to the planet, they land there, everything on Alpha returns to normal.
That's right. Just as it gets out of range, everything on Alpha turns to normal, but suddenly on the planet there's also life and water and
that's them. Yeah, they stay behind.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I thought it was the final episode to season 1. It sucked.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
Watching it now, I appreciate it a bit more, but it is very over contextualized. That the score is just, everything is very full on. It's weird. There's a lot of interesting science notes about this episode. I mean, this is a great website, even though it's really old. That's the testament of Arcadia. So Darth, what are in your top 5?
All right, my top 5, off the top of my head, War Games, Dragon Domain, because go figure, those are great episodes. You can't take that away. I gotta say the one about the Darians, I really like that episode.
Yeah,
I like Last Sunset. I know that's not a popular choice, but I do really like Last Sunset.
A lot of people like that.
Okay. A lot of people. And the other one I'm gonna say is Breakaway, because if you think about it, it really is a great pilot.
Yeah, it's excellent. Really good.
That's off the top of my head, my top 5.
Q2.
Dragon's Domain, Death Other Dominion, Breakaway, Last Enemy, and Testament of Arcadia. I would have to go. No, actually, Infernal Machine. I'm gonna have to change that.
All right. I love the way in Dragon's Domain, they basically got all the spaceships from all the other episodes and just chuck them in this.
Just throw them all in one time, and it was fantastic. But the thing about it is that got me. Okay, here's the thing that got me on this episode. This, whatever this is, this graveyard of ships is moving because it's
Yeah.
not in the same position when the first time when what's his name got there the first time around with his crew and his crew was murdered. Alpha came along with this in a different place, and they mentioned it. It says this is not the same place where supposedly his ship was, came across this.
It's moved in that time.
Yeah.
I mean, also another thing that's weird about it is technically, all of these ships should be linked together, because the only time that the alien is able to enter the explorer ship, which is here, it's been attached here. By the way, this is a continuity gap because this is your first shot of the graveyard of spaceships. But I think this is actually already attached to I'm not sure if this is already, I'm pretty sure that's the actual Eagle thing.
Yeah, that's the
Metaprobe thing.
The Metaprobe.
So they attach to this alien ship, and it's not until the airlock is opened that thing can access them. So it has to share the same atmosphere at least. So technically, all of these ships should either be connected or have been connected at some stage. Maybe the alien disconnects them so that then other ships can connect. I don't know. But
I like the premise of it. It's sort of like I said, Moby Dick.
Yeah.
The creature was his white whale.
Yeah. And there it is.
Oh, there
covered
it is.
In weed.
Oh.
And it's funny, actually, if you look, you can see on the floor the tracks for the body thing so they launch it out.
Yeah.
Because the husk comes out. That was the bit that always freaked me out.
You just go underneath and he just back right out again.
Yeah, you come out.
Pooped you out immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's when they open the door. I was really upset when the women got killed in this when I first saw it, because they were both kind of hot, and I was like, no, don't let one of the women survive. Yeah, and you felt really bad for Tony Badeschi, who's stuck in space on his own.
And the thing is, when it first happened, they were still, Alpha had not left yet, so it was still on. He was returning back to Earth at that point, and then he was put into a trial, and they thought that, oh yeah, you killed your crew.
Yes, Barbara Kellerman and Suzanne Jameson played the two. Suzanne Jameson, I've met her actually. I knew that name. Now, where did I meet her? Was that at the theatre? I think it was at the theatre. And I think she's still alive. I think. Yeah, God, she was born in 1941. And she's still around. But I met her probably in the 90s sometime. I remember getting introduced to her after a play. She was also in one episode of UFO. Well, we could do episode season 2, but we'll save that for another discussion. So I'm going to amend this stream to Space 99 Top 5, which is something I wanted to do anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to my guest. I've not had any email correspondence from him, which is a little bit worrying. So I'm hoping that everything's okay. Maybe there's been a family emergency. You just never know with these things.
I do want to bring up that the VHS era, they put out one or two of these episodes, but they changed the title.
Yeah, they put them out as movies. I've got them. Right. There was Space 1999 Alien Attack, which is Breakaway and War Games. And then there was another one, which was Black Sun. I think the other one was Black Sun and the Triton episode, which was a really bad 2-episode combination.
And then the early days of Mystery Science Theater 3000, they did Cosmic Princess, which is like the season 2 opener, and something else. I forgot what the second part of it was.
Yeah, that's right. These are the that's right. These are the they've got it on this website. It's all here. So these are the movies. So this Spazio 1999. I don't know what that was. That's compiled from Breakaway, Ring Around the Moon, and Another Time, Another Place. So I've never seen that. That must be a really weird edit. Destination Moonbase Alpha was The Bringers of Wonder Parts 1 and 2. That is the only good, really good story in season 2, in my opinion.
I have that one on VHS.
Yeah, I used to have it. Because those aliens are kind of cool, even though they're super cheaply made.
Yeah.
They are kind of cool. There's something about them that's really cool. Alien Attack is Breakaway. But they don't have the original title sequences, so I don't like them. One of the things that this did have, though, is it had these extra sequences with Earth that they said were made especially for this film. I'm not sure that's true. I think they were originally shot for the pilot but weren't used, and then they were reinstated. I'm sure I heard that somewhere. With good old Barrett Ads man, Patrick. He was in The Wild Geese, the man who sends them on the mission. And everybody's wearing these polo necks. And they're all really serious in these scenes. But I think these scenes were filmed, but I don't think... because these VHS releases, right, they weren't done until the 80s. And
I worked for a company that put them out on VHS, and then I worked in a video store that had them in stock.
Yeah, they came out around sort of like 83, 84, something like that. There's no way that these scenes were shot at that time, because I can tell you now that this actor was already older than this. These scenes were definitely shot in 74 or 75. And the reason that they didn't put them in was because somebody said if the moon was torn out of Earth's orbit, Earth would be completely ravaged, and you know, these scenes don't make sense. And also somebody else I think said that the story is from the Alphans' perspective. So how are the Alphans going to know what's going on Earth? You know, we haven't shown any other scenes on Earth up until this point. Why are we showing them now?
Well, in season two, you had that where Earth made contact with Alpha. Is that episode?
But that's seen from the Alphans.
Future.
Yeah, but that's all seen from the Alphans' point of view, though, isn't it?
Well, it's seen from the point of view, but also you see it from Earth as well. So basically, but they had a machine that they were able to transport them to Earth, but it didn't work, and it transported them somewhere else.
This was a bad combination for a movie. Journey Through the Black Sun. I mean, it was just
The Mystery Science Theater 3000. You can watch it on YouTube. It's like the KTMA season 0 episodes. That's with like Princess.
That's with like the little alien guys sitting and talking.
Yeah.
I mean, this is season 2. The Rules of Luton was actually all right, but I don't know if you know the story behind the title of that. Was they were driving along the M1 and they didn't have a title for the episode, and they said, "I need a name for the planet," and they saw a turnoff for Luton, which is a really run-down town that's known for Luton Airport, and not a lot else. So when it came out and it's called The Rules of Luton, we were all like, what the fuck? That's a terrible title. So not good. I don't even remember most of these. But the Seance Spectre.
Yeah, the only thing I rewatched is season 1. I haven't seen season 2 since the mid '80s.
No, I've seen a couple of them, but the one with the 2 children when they get broken out from the missiles, I think that might be. Is that New Adam, New Eve? Is that one? Oh no, it's not. I can tell from looking at it, it's not this one. Oh, that's the one with Peter Weingard in it. Oh my god, that's a terrible episode. Yeah, I can't even remember.
Yeah, the one,
the Exiles. I'm thinking of the Exiles. The Exiles is all right.
yeah, the one where they get in touch with Earth in the future. That's Journey to Where. Freddie
Journey
Jones.
to Where. Yeah,
Freddie Jones is in that episode.
Yeah, these are cool. I was looking for this to see if they had shots of this.
Yeah.
These are cool. These models of and it cuts to shots of various cities. It's quite funny to think that that's actually one of those tubes that you put in the garden with all the lights. But yeah,
And Brian the Brain was a weird one.
Yes, that
Bernard Cribbins.
Yeah, it was awful episode, terrible. And then there's also like Devil's Planet, where all these girls in spandex and it was bad, terrible, bad. So and you can see it. Look at how many different writers there are on it as well. So yeah, I think Terence Feely really he wrote that's the best episode, and the other one he did was not very good. So, but hey, all right. So apologies to everyone that my guest couldn't make it for whatever reason. I'll no doubt I'll hear from him tomorrow. I hope it's nothing serious. But thank you.
I definitely want to hear more about that other project.
Yeah.
The link to it is all in the blurb, so you can certainly go and have a look at it. I will get him on as soon as is physically possible. Who knows? It may even be later this week. If I talk to him tomorrow and he's free, I'll get him in. I think I've got another guest coming on Wednesday, but we'll get him on as soon as is physically possible. But thank you, Darth and Q2 for stepping in, because it would have been quite boring listening to me talk for.
Not a problem. Anytime. I just want to mention tomorrow we're on live right here on YouTube, 3 p.m. Eastern on QTCast TV.
Let me, buddy, let me give you a proper plug there. Remind me of the channel's name.
Q2Cast TV.
Q2Cast TV, that was it. We met quite a while ago on
the Shatner stream. Yes, the
lovely Jill, anti-derivative Jill.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I find your channel? Oh, hang on, I'm missing out the queue. That would be why. That'd be why, Lance, wouldn't it? I must be a bit tired. 2Cast QTV.
If you need it, I can give it to you here.
Yeah, could you want to type it in the private chat for me?
That's what I'm going to do right now. Give me a second.
I know, I'm sure I'm subscribed to it. Thank you, Goofus Doofus. I appreciate that. Yeah, we kind of filled in there. I didn't really want to cancel it because I don't like cancelling stuff unless I have to. And we were also kind of 2 minutes away from broadcast. So, plus, I've been meaning to do a top 5 Space 1999 season 1. What I'm going to do though is quickly edit the title of this video to exactly that.
I'm going to give you tomorrow's stream there in the private chat. That's tomorrow's stream.
Okay, well, and that will get me to the channel though, won't it? So
yeah, I'll go right to the channel.
Yeah, so that's all good. All right. Okay, cool. I'm gonna edit. Let me just do this. Well, this is no longer an industry interview. This is a Chew the Fact episode now. We've just done. So, Chew the Fact. Top 5 episodes of, there we go, Space 1999. And, we still talked a bit about Return to Moonbase Alpha. I just didn't want to get into it in too much detail without my guests, because obviously it's their project. And I didn't want to start supposing things without them being present. So better that we get them on and reschedule. But thank you, Darth. Thank you to Q2 for coming in. Let me put that link up in the chat there.
Anytime.
I've got your channel. I'm subscribed. I'm not a member, but I'm subscribed. Yeah, I'm subscribed ages ago. I knew I recognised it. Here we go. So yeah, I got it. So do check out Q2's channel. Here's the link. Oh, Danny, thank you very much for that super chat. £5. I really enjoyed it. It's been fun. Yeah. Outpost Nerd. Evening, gents. We're just about to wrap up, buddy. My guest couldn't make it tonight, Outpost Nerd, so we're going to get him back on another time. But we did top 5 season 1 Space 1999 episodes in a rather hurried and not too pre-planned fashion. So we kind of talked through the whole season and said which episodes we liked and which we didn't. I think overall, season 1 has only got like a couple of turkeys. It's got maybe 2 or 3 episodes that are not very good. There's always something of merit even in those, but there's 2 or 3 not very good, including I think Testament of Arcadia would be one of them for me. And then it's got sort of 3 or 4 that are average, and then you've got 5 or 6 that are good, and then 6 or 7 that are very good. So it's a pretty good mix.
Yeah, Arcadia wasn't a bad episode. It just wasn't a good finale.
No, that's the problem. It comes at the end of the show. I think if you could have made that episode 2, and it would have worked. It would have worked. It's like, we've come to another planet where maybe we can settle there, and these people panic and do a runner, and that could have even worked as episode 2 or 3. It would have been better if the last episode of season 1 should have been War Games, because they finally reached the planet Meta, which the deep space probe was going to go to, and they think they're going to settle there, and there's a big battle, and then they don't settle there, and so the fate of the Alphans is unknown. That's a much better ending.
I loved in Breakout when they were losing contact with Earth.
Breakaway.
Breakaway. And as soon as they lost the contact with Earth, then the meta signal started to kick in.
Yeah, I know. And I think also that should have come up a few more times. They should have just had a couple of lines about meta in about 3 or 4 other episodes.
Yeah, I agree.
Would have been good fun. So apparently Edward Norton has dropped a little video where he's talking about Steven Seagal. I feel that will be entertaining, so I'm going to go and watch that now.
Well, there's a lot dropping this. Remember, this is CinemaCon is this week.
Yes, a lot of trailers and stuff.
There's tons of trailers already. Eli Roth's Ice Cream Man horror film, the Korean zombie flick, the guy who made Train to Busan just released.
Is it a sequel to Train to Busan? Is it set
it's
in the
called
same
Colony.
Universe?
I don't know if it's an actual sequel, but it is a zombie film. It's called Colony. They already released a trailer for that. I think tomorrow Toho is releasing Godzilla Minus Zero's teaser trailer as well.
Ooh.
So there's going to be a lot of trailers this week.
Cool. Well,
I think Sony's tonight. In fact, it should be they should be starting their presentation within the hour.
Well, we'll be back on the Nielsen ratings tomorrow at 9 p.m. UK time, which normally finishes around now. We're going to be talking about Thrash, which is the new shark movie that's on Netflix. I found a pretty cool movie that you might like, Darth, although you'll definitely rattle on about all the historical inaccuracies. But there's a pretty cool film with Ben Foster called Medieval that's on Amazon that's worth checking out. It's about sort of the transition of 2 different popes that were rivals, and various people trying to supplant various people. There's a lot of sword fights and bloodshed, and Michael Caine has got a really small part in it, but it's obviously headlining. But it's a good film.
Since you invoked my name, I'll check it out.
Yeah, no, you should, absolutely. I want to hear what you think of the historical stuff, because that's what people are moaning about, but it's actually quite a fun little movie. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks very much to my guests. Do check out my guest Q2's channel. Come back tomorrow and talk to us then. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. UK time. Until then, bye.
Misfits and dreamers getting innovative. It's film, TV, and theater in the mix. Industry interviews where ideas get their fix.